I think what some fans want is for it to be this full-fledged, like, they're in love. We're exploring it in a very natural, kind of nuanced way that is not like now they're getting married. It's like, what you would expect. It's kind of messy.
Robby now pauses at the Pitt Fest memorial plaque, and we see Adamson's portrait hang above his left shoulder. What does that image represent to you in terms of what Robby's still carrying from last season?
It just sets the table for what's on this guy's mind now. You know, last year he had a hard time walking past that Adamson portrait without looking at it and feeling the weight and the gravitas of this being the anniversary of his passing and being a potentially trigger-filled day. Then you get that plaque on the wall and you realize that this is your last day on shift for 3 months.
She's just covering his chief while I go on my little sabbatical.
3 months?
I'll be back before your daughter sleeps through the night.
You're going to be leaving this place in the care of somebody else. God forbid there should be another one of these and you're not here. What would that be like? You know, can you leave? Really, can you leave?
Anyone who's been through a mass casualty like that, you know, it changes you. You're not the same person, and there's a lot of trauma that comes with it. And we, you know, talk to a lot of physicians and nurses and those people, staff who survived, you know, and worked through a mass casualty. And, you know, it just feels like that's something that just, if we didn't address it, it would be like, well, so that just happens every day. No, it's something that people will remember for a long time and will have the scars from it, whether it's physical or emotional. Robby stopping to pause at that plaque is just to remember that that's still going on. And I think for Robby's character, he still hasn't really come to terms with his own personal trauma. Ultimately, it's what broke him. And I think that's where it was the first time he realized probably just how messed up he was. And now the question is, now what's he gonna do about it?
Tell me about this new attending.
She's pretty, divorced, 1 kid. Can already tell she is a strict rule follower. I'm probably gonna grow to hate her.
We see Robby sort of get the 411 on who your character is before you two actually meet.
Yeah.
How much do you think she's been warned about how much he might be pushing back on some of these new procedures that she's trying to implement?
I mean, I think she's prepared. She's been briefed. She understands what she's walking into. But even with that level of preparation, she still is completely shocked when she meets him.
Dr. Al-Hashimi, Dr. Michael Rabinovich, everybody calls me Robby.
Spot on, please.
Welcome to Pitt.
Yeah,
Trauma's a minute out.
Ooh, who wants to treat a real patient?
When you hear about someone or something and you feel like you're mentally prepared, but then the actual energetic exchange, like the alchemy between you and the other, it's unpredictable.
I find that a mock code is a great way to assess the student's capabilities.
Well, it might have been nice if we'd had a little time to go over how we do things.
There's no way to prepare for how that might throw you off.
Is there a problem?
In the premiere, Al-Hashimi freezes when she walks into Peds to check on the baby. What were you playing there emotionally, and how much should we read that moment as a clue about who she really is beneath the professionalism?
You know, the answer to that question is kind of rooted in a huge spoiler. Okay. So I can't say much, but I will say there is a story behind that moment, and we'll learn more throughout the season. I mean, every physician, every person, but every physician in particular carries their baggage, right, of trauma, of experiences, and it weighs on them and affects them in different ways. And yeah, you'll learn more throughout the season.
I have an addiction to benzos, and I helped myself to some of the Librium I prescribed you for your withdrawal.
Langdon's first patient back this season is Louie, someone he wronged, someone who's also fighting his own demons. From Langdon's perspective, what do you think it means to him to have to face Louie on day 1?
I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing writing by Scott.
You stole my pills?
Yeah. Langdon spent the last 10 months going through rehab and probably planning for this day and planning on what he's going to say to Robby when he sees him, what he's going to say to Santos, what he's going to say to Dana and Mel and everybody. That he has a lot of apologies to make. And I don't know if it dawned on Langdon that he might run into Louie. But at the end of the day, Louie is somebody that he's wronged as much as anyone. It was not only wrong and utterly unprofessional, but it was a betrayal of my Hippocratic oath, and it was a crime. And he's also somebody that has the same shape hole as Langdon. He's got a hole in his bucket, and he's on this path of addiction without the same sort of privileges and support structure that Langdon has. And he sees in Louie how far down that rabbit hole you can go, and he also sees somebody that he really believes can come back. And I think that's an amazing surprise to walk through the door and run into.
Our farm boy here is a vintage funk freak. Unfortunately, he also likes to use other people's toothbrushes.
There was one time. They were the same color.
Fans of this show, you guys know, watch very closely.
Yeah.
And in episode 1, there's a tiny moment where Garcia mentions Whitaker, who is Santos' roommate, accidentally using her toothbrush. Fans picked up on a spark between Santos and Garcia last season.
Do you remember that thing I was worried about? My foot is fine, but I'll let you make it up to me with a cocktail.
Were you surprised to see that connection explored this year?
No, I think, of course, but I like, come on.
Yeah.
But what I appreciate about it is, I think what some fans want is for it to be this full-fledged, like, they're in love. And no, it's like a lot of workplace relationships that any of us have seen. It's like there's some awkwardness, there's some like, what are we? And like, okay, this is just fun, but is it? Maybe one person's more into it than the other. Like, it's very undefined, and I think that's what makes for more interesting storytelling too. The fact that I think you see Santos this season a little unsure of where she stands with Garcia, which is another thing that is kind of throwing her off her game too. She's like, oh my God, Langdon's back, and this person that I kind of like is kind of avoiding me, and like, what is happening? So I think it makes sense that we're exploring it, and it makes sense that we're exploring it in a very natural, kind of nuanced way that is not like, now they're getting married. It's like, it's what you would expect. It's kind of messy.
Coming arm in arm.
Yeah, literally. No,
Yeah.
it's like workplace relationships are messy, so that's what we're exploring.
Yeah.
You must have sat through the part of med school where they tell you 90% of your time will be spent typing.
Which is just one more reason surgery is a better lifestyle choice.
Javadi's mom clearly sees a future for her in surgery, but Javadi seems to be thriving right now down in the ED. Do you think she feels any pull toward what her mother wants, or is she beginning to recognize that her own path may look different than the one her mom imagines?
Yeah, I think she's very, very unsure about what she wants to do with her life, and feels a lot of pressure from everywhere. And also the places she's getting pressure from sort of grow throughout the shift. Like, pressure starts coming from places she didn't think it was going to come from. I think she thinks at the start of the day that only her mum really has an idea of where she should go, where the right choice is, the choice where she'd be proud of her. And I think that sort of over the day gets even worse for her. I hope she does choose herself, and because I don't think you can choose to live a life somebody else wants for you. I think it's a dangerous game to play. I think that ultimately you've got to like wake up with yourself and do your life every day. But I think we'll sort of see where that goes. And I think it's sort of a really common thing for children of migrants to feel that pressure, because your parents sacrificed so much to like to be here and to give you safety, and gave up their own cultural backgrounds and gave up their own safe spaces to move to a foreign place and build a life that ultimately serves you more than it serves them. And so I think that pressure is really common, and it makes sense, of course, but I hope she finds a way to have a relationship with her mum and be her own person.